I was sitting in the doctor's chair blind. I didn't think I was blind, but the doctor kept telling me I was blind, legally, and I needed to stop driving. He was even showing me evidence, like my visual field test, that showed I had a field of vision of less than 20 degrees. I knew I had a visual impairment, but I didn't realize I was looking through straws. And that's what was so hard. I could see clearly, and I can still see clearly. I can read the TEDx sign on the screen in the back. My brain does this amazing thing where it fills in all of the missing vision. So I think I can see everything. But if you're standing just off center of me, I can't see you. You do not exist. And that's when I become abundantly aware of what little vision I have left. So logically, I knew I was done driving. I believed the evidence, and I did not want to end my driving career by killing someone. But I also had no idea how I was going to make this work without driving. I was a project manager for a construction company that had jobs all over the state. I even had my own company truck. And it wasn't your ordinary company truck. It was a four-wheel drive super cab, lower lumbar, heated leather seats. It even came with its own gas card. I was 35 years old, the single dad to 2 young daughters. I lived 12 miles from work and 8 miles from town. How was I going to get them to soccer practice or the doctor? How was I going to get groceries? How was I even going to go on vacation? And probably most importantly, how was I going to stay employed? I was in an absolute panic. I was completely devastated. The weekend following that news, I cried the entire time. I cried while I folded laundry. I cried while I pushed my kids on the swing set in the backyard. And I cried while I personally created a global shortage of tequila. It was uncharted territory for me. I always had a plan going forward in life. I knew at an early age I wanted to be an architect. I knew where I wanted to live after college, and I knew when I wanted to have kids. And now I had no answers, no plan. I decided to get up that following Monday morning. I was scared of what my future looked like, but I was more scared of curling up on a ball on the couch. So my employer picked me up and took me to work that day, and they assured me that they would figure out a way to keep my job. And that did help relieve some of my stress, but I knew I needed to make other changes. So I moved into town to be closer to bus lines, schools, and work. And I even started asking friends and strangers for help. And I hated asking for help. I felt so weak when I needed someone else to do something for me. But I was willing to do what it took to keep the life I loved intact. And with all the changes that I made, my life did start to settle down. But it was hard. It took longer to go everywhere. It took me an hour to go 5 miles to work. It took my daughters and I 12 hours to go 100 miles on vacation. And this change in my visual status brought to the front that I may be blind someday. So I was really dealing with 2 problems. One was, how do I make my life work without driving? And 2 was, I don't want to be blind. I love seeing. Seeing is awesome. I love playing sports. I love riding my bike by myself. I love seeing my daughters' faces. I love looking at pink and purple clouds over the ocean at sunset. I am absolutely terrified of being blind. But I realized that I had grown so tired of holding myself hostage because of my eyes and because of what I thought my future looked like. So I decided to go towards what scared me the most, being blind. And I started with interviewing people who went blind from the same eye disease that I have, retinitis pigmentosa, or RP. I interviewed one woman named Cindy. She told me her life was wonderful. She said that she had been completely blind for 15 years and didn't even think about it anymore. How is that possible? She told me that she traveled a lot, that she played sports, and that she even went to art galleries. She was so convincing. And I wanted to believe her, and I think I chose to believe her in that moment because I wanted to keep moving forward. And I started learning Braille, and I started learning about adaptive technology, and probably the best decision I made was taking this year-long mobility training class where I learned how to use a cane. And I chose to take this training class with no vision, with the help of these blackout glasses that take away the rest of my eyesight. And I did it because I didn't want my eyes to be a distraction, but I really did it because I wanted to see what my life was going to be like in total darkness. So I learned how to walk down big city streets, and I learned how to walk in small towns. I learned how to find the bus and then ride it. I learned how to navigate around roundabouts and find escalators and go up elevators and go up and down stairs. And I have these vivid memories of walking down these quiet neighborhood streets where I can smell lavender and other pungent blooming flowers. I can hear dogs' collars jingle as they approach and pass me, and I can hear the kids in the backyard playing. I created these wonderful memories that I still cherish, and that is the conundrum. The last 10 years have been some of the toughest moments of my life, but they've also been some of the most amazing moments of my life. I don't want to go blind, but my eyes have given me so much. I feel like I have an opportunity to enjoy every single day because of my eyes. I feel like I have a built-in sense of urgency because of my failing vision. I do not wait to do things. I do them now. I ride my bike 400 miles in a week at Cycle Oregon because I don't know when I'm going to ride my bike again. I take my family up to San Juan to see killer whales because I don't know when I'm going to see them again. And asking for help has had this fantastic consequence. I have ended up meeting so many incredible people just because I have asked my community to help me. And yet, I still have breakdowns. I still fall apart. I still have days of hopelessness and despair. And I have moments of frustration, like walking down streets that I'm unfamiliar with my cane, or people staring at me or jumping out of my way like I have a contagious disease. In those moments, I want to smash my cane into 100 million pieces. And when I'm done with that, I usually want to find something else to break. But when those moments pass, still there, right up in my face, are my eyes, providing me an opportunity to create a life of no regret. So I know if I lose all of my vision tomorrow, I am going to miss things that I can't do anymore. I'm going to mourn and grieve those losses. But I also know that I'm going to adapt, and I'm going to find other ways to enjoy life. I know that I will always be connected to nature, and I will always be connected to people. And when I got this diagnosis, I envisioned this life of panic and helplessness. But my life is not worse by going blind. It is different. And maybe I suffer more than some people. But I think I have a life full of richness, full of adventure, and full of unbinding love for others and from others. And 10 years ago, I could not see any of that. So I encourage all of you here today to go towards what scares you. I promise you that what reality is will never be as bad as what you envision in your head. And if you go towards what scares you, you will be surprised at all of the things that you get out of it. The pain, the suffering, and the struggle that I have experienced dealing with the tough parts of going blind has clearly made me a better person and father. I am more compassionate, I am more happy, I am more relaxed, and I am definitely a more loving person. I'll tell anyone who asks me that I think going blind has easily been one of the greatest things that's ever happened to me. So please, be very, very careful, and don't be so quick to judge the devastating news that may come into your life. It could be the best thing that ever happens to you. Thank you.